Media Day 2020, and time now for our talk with Coach Butch Pedersen. And Coach, we talked with a couple other guys already. It feels different, it looks different, but yet it's still high school football season.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's what you have to keep in mind here. We're doing everything imaginable to keep the kids safe, but it is football season, and we're just praying to God that nothing happens to anybody, and I don't think it will.
Take us through just briefly kind of the summer. And, you know, you and I talked several different times, and, well, we think we're going to have a season. Well, we're not sure what's going to happen, what's going to go. And then finally they say, we're going to do it. We're cutting the schedule a little bit, and then everybody's in the playoffs. You know, how did you kind of keep in touch with the guys, with the coaches, just to be able to say, no matter what they do, we're ready to play?
Well, as far as the weight room, we couldn't do anything in the weight room until July 1st. But then after that, you know, we had some Zoom meetings, and I know the captains had some captains practices. We weren't involved in those, but they did have some of those as far as the passing part. But there wasn't a whole lot you could do, and we had to make sure that we were doing everything we were supposed to do as far as making sure the kids were safe.
So looking at the schedule, obviously take out 2 games in the regular season, so Sigourney and Regina gone, play a 7-game regular season, and then everybody gets into the playoffs. Take us through kind of how that's going to shape up and what you'll see coming up from that.
Well, I think, you know, the first 2 games are going to be tough games because they're both 2A schools, and it's Tipton and West Liberty. And our conference is pretty balanced, to be honest with you, so we're going to have a tough schedule for us from the standpoint that we're very young. We have 5 sophomores on this team, which is unheard of at West Branch. And they're developing well, but how well they develop and how fast they develop will determine the kind of success we're going to have. But I know they're working hard, and that's all we can ask of those kids. And I'm excited about this team. They're a tight-knit group like most of our teams are. The one component that I don't like that we have been suggested to do is to separate the fresh off and the varsity. That's not the way we built this program. We've always had the kids together as a family atmosphere, but for safety's sake, we felt that this was the thing to do this year. So I'm distraught about that, but there isn't anything anybody can do about it.
Right. So with that, I mean, obviously it's not the way we want to do it, but the masks aren't anything that people want to do. We're finding ways to get around it. How do you think that's going to impact, you know, game prep and weekly practices and things of that nature?
I don't think it's going to affect us at all. I think it's what you demand out of your kids and what the kids want out of the whole thing. I know this team wants to be good. They want to do the best that they possibly can. And so I think to use that, if some coaches do use that as an excuse, that's just what it is, an excuse. We're all in the same boat. We're all going to play as hard as we can across the state of Iowa, and we're all going to try to be as safe as we can be, and that's what the main thing is this year. And to get an opportunity for the kids to play is really, really important. I'm glad that the state did this. It's not my preference. I would have rather seen us go to the spring. I think it's a safer environment in the spring, possibly. Mm-hmm. But I am very, very happy with the Iowa High School Athletic Association, except for this mask, that they're trying everything they can to be proactive and try to get the kids out on the field, and that's the main thing. We're doing this whole thing for the kids.
Right. Well, speaking of the kids, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, obviously, you know, last year's senior class, you know, you had several guys that were playing varsity since they were sophomores. A lot of experience, a lot of places where, you know, those guys are now gone. You've got some new faces filling in. What are you seeing from those guys that are coming in and, you know, trying to fill those roles here as this season gets going?
Well, I think a lot of them are stepping up. A lot of the sophomores have got to step up, and we have some seniors coming back. But the receiver core is very deep. The backfield, we need to develop more depth in the backfield. Andy Henson's doing a great job there. We're trying to groom a couple other people for that area. Quarterback's outstanding. You know that. He's a great quarterback. Offensive line is really starting to develop. We feel we have 7 offensive linemen that can play for us. From a defensive standpoint, we have, I think, 3 starters back. So we don't have many starters back on the offensive side or the defensive side, but I think the secondaries come along extremely well. We have a lot of speed. We're gifted with speed. The kicking game will be a good thing for us. Cale Federlin's a great kicker, and the snapper is always important, and Caleb is doing a great job sexing at snapping the football. So we should be pretty solid in the special teams area as well.
Well, it's one of those that it takes all 3 phases to be able to be successful, and so I know that a lot of work goes into each of those different areas. These guys have been doing it on their own a lot, like you said, in the off season. So it's just a credit to see them just so eager to get out here and get after it and say, you know what, we don't care if we have to wear masks. We don't care if we have to stop and sanitize the football and wash our hands every 4 minutes. We're going to play some football.
That's right, and that's what makes it so gratifying to me is they could be just the opposite, and they're not. They're ahead of us, and they want to do well, and I'm extremely happy with this team. And we've won some fundraisers. The captain's parents have done a good job, and the community has supported us extremely well. We hardly had any money left in our football budget, and it started to grow now again, and we're happy about that as well.
We're looking forward to it, Coach. August 28th, we started off right here on the Little Rose Bowl with Tipton coming in, so can't wait for it, and hopefully we can see this season go off without a hitch. Thanks for joining us here this week.
And to watch this thing today unfold, the professionalism from your crew and everybody else is really trying their best to be safe for the kids, and I think that's outstanding, simply outstanding.
It's Coach Butch Pedersen here, Media Day 2020.